Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we are back with a Varus supplementary guide and we're going to be taking a look at the Lethality variant of Varus today. So let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So first up we're going to start off with the Gluttonous Greaves as usual for the AD as well as the Omnivamp, and then of course core item on Varus for of course those non-on-hit, non-like auto attack focused builds is going to be the Essence Reaver. Essence Reaver of course gives you a decent amount of AD ability haste, but of course the most important part is the Essence Flare passive, which basically increases the damage of your ability, which mainly is of course for your Q. Basically allows you to one-shot the wave with it, allows you to poke enemies down really effectively, and of course gives you missing mana as well, which on Varus is actually very useful because he uses a lot of mana. So next up, basically we're going to go for 3 lethality items. Now the general items you're going to go for is generally Youmuu's gives you the extra attack speed when you proc it. Of course gives you a lot of AD as well as 15 armor pen. Serpent's Fang, again 15 armor pen, 50 AD. Of course busts the shields of your enemies, and of course Edge of Night gives you health, AD, armor pen, but a lot less armor pen of course. But the important part gives you the shielding passive to of course block hostile abilities. And finally, last item is going to be more reminder, gives you of course the armor penetration as well as the grievous wounds. Now some other lethality options you have is, actually I don't actually have it here, but you have Duskblade. I don't really like Duskblade as a lethality item for lethality option for Varus in particular, because yes, you do get the most lethality, and yes, you also get that extra physical damage on your auto attack, but I think all the other lethality items are generally just better options. Like even Collector is a better option, because why? Essence Reaver scales off of crit, right? So getting more crit actually increases your Essence Reaver damage. So in this particular game you're going to see later, we don't have a lot of shields, so I actually end up going for Collector instead over here. So Collector of course gives you that crit, gives you that armor pen, and this decent stat line all around. So we have crit item here, crit item here, crit item here. So already, like, technically, even though we're building lethality, we actually have 4 crit items in our build, ironically enough, which is actually going to be pretty decent. 75% crit is very, very good, and gives your auto attack a little bit of oomph as well, and of course also scales up your Essence Reaver. So for the runes, you have a couple options. So first off, you have Arcane Comet, which is going to increase your poke damage in general, and that's the option I used to go for. It's a really nice, decent option. Since you're lethality, you can burst people down, so First Strike is also an option as well. Also a really good option for Varus. But the one I like to go for now is actually Phase Rush, because obviously getting movement speed and cooldowns on your ability is always going to be good. Movement speed, a little bit hard of a stat to use, but when you kind of master using the Phase Rush movement speed, you're going to help. It's going to help you getting really nice short trades where the enemy cannot really trade back. And also getting your ability cooldowns back faster is going to help, especially with your W and your Q, which are going to be your main abilities you need to burst people down with. And then for the rest of the runes, of course we have Brutal to allow you to, of course, get some auto attack damage. Now, arguably, because with this build you don't auto attack as much, you could also go for something like Triumph, but I still think Brutal is more consistent. Giant Slayer helps you shred the tanks, but of course with this build it's a lot about killing squishy, so Coup de Grace is really good as well. Now, Alacrity here is a little bit questionable again, because I think you don't auto attack a lot, but I think it's more useful than Bloodline in general, because getting a little bit of your auto attack ability is obviously going to be good to just stack up your Blight to pop it with your Q as well. And Bone Plating, of course, here for the defensive capabilities. Generally, I still think Flash as well as Ghost is the best option you have. The mobility on Varus is really important, but if you really need it, you can also afford to go for your Exhaust. But with all that said, let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Alright, so now let's take a look at our gameplay itself. So now, first things first, what I gotta point out is if you take a look at the enemy team here, we have 3 ADCs on the enemy team. We have a MF top, we have an Ezreal mid, and we have a Vayne ADC. So we also have a Morgana support, and we have a Warwick in the jungle. So my first thought was, man, this is a really, really squishy team. So I was considering between playing Lethality Varus or playing like a Jhin, for example. So here you can see we already got a very, very good trade. We have our Phase Rush, and we just, walk away. Basically, we burst Morgana down like to half HP, and for some reason she's walking in a very dangerous position as well. Unfortunately, our Masti pretty much dies here for First Blood. We're trying to get ourselves back into the game, but unfortunately we missed our E there because Vayne tumbled out of the way, and Morgana was able to root us, which basically meant that we couldn't really reach the fight in time, and we couldn't actually get a pick on Morgana either. Now, what could have happened here if we played really well is we flashed the Morgana binding, and toward the Morgana, of course, and then we E Morgana and just auto her down, and we probably get the kill right then and there, because our phase rush would allow her to chase, would allow us to chase her down, and we likely get the kill there. But either way, it's fine. Morgana picks up the food. We're able to burst down the vein with our arrow this time, and we're gonna hit over here and pick up our own fruit, and we're also going to hit back there, letting Seraphine stop the vein from backing, and we're just gonna continually harass them. The issue with Varus is in the first few levels, you actually consume a lot of mana from your ability, so very likely is when you are able to get your boots is when you want to basically recall and pretty much just pick up your boots, because you see, look at the mana cost of that E, it was huge. So yeah, Varus runs out of mana really quickly, so I'm basically gonna back the moment I can get boots every single time, because by then we pretty much run out of mana just from harassing enemies. With Lethality Varus, you always want to land harass on enemies, because you're gonna deal a lot of damage with your abilities just because of the lethality that you have. Of course, we have basically yet to build any lethality items, so we're basically just plain Jane old Varus right now. But even so, Varus does do a lot of poke damage. I still think Varus is one of the best, if not the best ADCs to play. I haven't really come up with a tier list yet, because I haven't really played some of the ADCs on the current patch yet, and also I'm not completely sure of my opinion on ADCs and other roles, so I'm kind of just waiting a little bit to make a tier list, because I want to try to make my tier list as accurate as I can, and for that to happen, I have to pretty much get around to playing all the ADCs, at least for the ADC tier list to be accurate. For the rest of the roles, it's kind of just my opinion based on what I see, but of course, the ADC portion of my tier list is generally going to be the most accurate. Now, Morgana kind of trolls here by basically walking up way too far. We just basically one-shot her, and Vayne is now in trouble as well, because we do get the Ghost Reset and the Phase Rush proc, so she has to kind of run away. Yeah, sometimes people do these kind of troll things where, like, even if Morgana hits the binding there, like, so what, right? It's not like Vayne's gonna be able to kill us, so that's why, in my opinion, what she did there was troll, because if she hit the binding, it's not gonna result in us getting killed. If she misses the binding, it's gonna result in her dying, so yeah, so Vayne here, again, she trolls as well, because obviously she underestimates Varus's damage. Basically, we walk up, we kill her. Here we set down the turret, it gets us gold. Here I'm trying to stand behind Seraphine, but somehow the Warwick still hits me, and we still end up dying anyway. Of course, Seraphine cannot get Warwick off of our back, because only Heart CC that's able to, like, displace the Warwick is able to not kill, but interrupt his ult. Something like a Vayne Condemn, for example, or a Pantheon Stun, I believe, is going to be able to do that, but of course, Vayne can't really do that. So something else to note is, my team is basically, both teams, yeah, basically, is full AD except for the support. So if Morgana is of course going to build some AP damage, but Seraphine is also going to build some AP damage, but either way, yeah, both teams are really heavy AD. So I did consider picking building AP Varus instead, but my thought process was the enemy team is so squishy anyway. Lethality is just going to be better, and they're not going to really build a lot of resistances, except maybe Warwick, but the ADCs are not really going to be building full-on defensive items unless maybe they reach to full build. So I'm thinking Lethality is definitely the way to go here. Like, Lethality Varus is really only a niche pick that you want to pick when either number one, the enemy team is already squishy, or number two, the enemy team has completely no backline access. Because sometimes, like, if you build on-hit Varus, even when the enemy team has no backline access, you can sometimes find it a little bit difficult to walk up to auto attack all the time, because you're always going to be at risk. Here, Warwick's coming in again. This time, we juke him out by backstepping a little bit, and we have to flash her to prevent ourselves from getting binded. Here, Vayne gets caught by the Seraphine into myself, and then here I know I'm gonna die, so I'm trying to trade the kill onto Morgana with my E, but I couldn't get the E off before Warwick killed me. I think if I got the E off, that was enough to burst down the Morgana, maybe, but we'll never know for sure, because we died regardless. But yeah, so even in the instances where the enemy team is no backline threat, you sometimes still have difficulty walking up as Varus to just auto attack. So sometimes you can just build Lethality, and then because you have Lethality, you just stand far away, full charge your Q, and keep sending your Q into the enemy team, and that's enough to pretty much win you the game. That's kind of the two real instances that you want to pick Lethality Varus. Other than that, generally the on-hit Varus or the AP Varus is going to be better, or some mixture like with the Triforce builds on Varus is going to be better than building the AP Varus, just in general. So yeah, so here we're gonna quickly clear out the minions. And now we have enough to get Essence Reaver. So Essence Reaver is a really big power spike. You pretty much want to get it as soon as you can, which is what I'm doing here, recalling for Essence Reaver. and walking back out. Essence Weaver really changes the game because with Varus now you can instantly one-shot a wave pretty much. Like, I say pretty much because sometimes some of the minions remain at 1 HP and you have to just auto them a last time. And this is also going to be able to chunk out enemies very, very well. So if we can land a full charge Q here, you will see what I mean. But for now, I'm not actually using my Q because I want to maintain the Essence Weaver passive when I can actually hit a Q onto an enemy. So I'm actually just auto-attacking the wave down. Here, you can see I basically one-shot the wave there. I hit Morgana with the Q as well, so you can see Morgana took a little bit of damage there, not as much as I was expecting, to be honest. But here the enemy team has to be very, very careful. If they get caught by Seraphine CC or my CC, they're pretty much just going to die instantly. However, Warwick and Ezreal are going for some funny business down in the mid lane. Vi and Caitlyn are having a 2v2 with them. Here we are trying to actually reach to catch up to them, but we realize that the fight is really not gonna extend too far, so we're actually just going back to the lane. A dragon fight is ensuing, however I don't want to miss a whole minion wave worth of minions, so here I'm actually in a 1v1 versus Vayne. I believe I can kill her pretty easily, but here I make a big mistake by mispositioning between with a wall behind me, which basically allows Vayne to condemn me and allows her to survive, which is a very big mistake by me. So here I make another very big mistake, which is get hit by Ezreal, Q into an Ezreal ult, and just pretty much just die. I could have killed Ezreal as well if I played that properly, just by launching a Q into his face. But I stepped up too far, and I basically made 2 big blunders in a row, which is pretty embarrassing. Like, the Vayne one was inexcusable. Like, why was I standing there? I should have stood the, not even stood the other way, but I should just ran forward instead of to the side, because running to the side puts me between her and the wall, which allows her to condemn me and just tumble away to escape. I should have gotten the kill on Vayne there for free, and definitely should not have died to the Ezreal there either, so 2 big mistakes for me. Really unfortunate, but yeah, you know, those kind of things happen, so, you know, of course we're going to see them in my video, we're going to see them in your games, we're going to see them in my games, you know, we're just going to see those kind of mistakes happen from time to time, even from the best of us. Like here we're back in the lane, one shot in the minion wave, of course, and here we're trying to go for that bounty. My team is pretty far behind, we're like 6k gold behind the enemy team, so we're trying to get this bounty on the tower here. Morgana is trying to clear the wave, but she can't really do that. We're able to get the bounty. I'm going to walk away because, again, we can see Warwick coming here. He's coming into ult, but this time he hits me, but it doesn't matter because there's no follow-up whatsoever. Ezreal is now here as well. Unfortunately, Seraphine is way too far behind me, and she basically is able, not able, but she basically gets bursted down by the entire 4-man squad of the enemy team. Here I want to actually reset, but I realized that the huge wave is coming in. Not huge, but a full wave is coming in, so I'm just going to go for that wave. Yone comes over to KS, the cannon minion. And my team as a whole is pretty far behind. Yone is 0 and 3. He's like 3-4k gold behind the MF somehow. I'm not sure how that happened. I would think that Yone would win against an MF. And Vi and Warwick are kind of on par, but Caitlyn's also 3k gold behind the Ezreal. I'm a little bit ahead of the Vayne, but not far enough that I'm able to cover up the huge goal deficits of my team, which is, yeah, really unfortunate. So here at this point, I'm just trying to get farm wherever I can, right? Yone is busy stealing my farm, so as a result, I'm gonna have to go steal Caitlyn's farm, because obviously we can't rely on Vayne, or I'm not Vayne, can't rely on Yone or Caitlyn to carry us. They've already shown to be relatively incompetent just based on how they're losing their matchup so hard. So here we're gonna try to get a pick on this overextended bot lane. I'm trying to go for the ult, but Morgana flashes. We're not able to retry. Flash forward, get condemned by Caitlyn, dodge the root there, and here Seraphine hits a nice ulti to catch the Morgana out. Vayne tries to stand and fight, but obviously she's not going to win against us, so we pick up a double kill here, salvaging the situation somewhat and getting a little bit of gold back into our pockets. So here Warwick for some reason goes in 1v3. I'm not sure what the plan was here from him, but we are able to get a kill onto him as well. Now MF is the next challenger. I'm not sure what she's doing either. They're just coming in one by one. So this is how teams who are hit throw games, right? So the enemy team gets a pick on 1 or 2 of your members, and that's where you need to cut your losses and, you know, just go for an objective, which in this case there isn't, or do something else on the other side of the map. What you don't want to do is you go in after your teammates have already died, and then you donate more kills to the enemy team. Now here I just got 4 kills off of that entire sequence, which puts me firmly back into the game and back into a position where I can carry my team. Now, there is an instance where going in does make sense. Like, for example, if the enemy team use all of their ultimates and they have no juice left, you can, of course, go in. This is very much more the case when you're against, a mages. So here, Ezreal, who has a 1k shutdown, gets charmed by Seraphine gets rooted, and here I'm just going in for the kill. Like, I know I'm gonna die here. I know I'm gonna give away a shutdown of my own, but I have like about a 300-400 gold shutdown. Ezreal has a 1k gold shutdown, so the 1k gold shutdown is from like the 700 gold shutdown plus the 300 gold you get from killing it. So I get 1k gold there. MF does get back like 500 gold, but that's a worth it trade in my opinion. So I could have ran, but I think the shutdown's more important. So I get the shutdown. Now I'm at 10k gold, and now I have more gold than everybody in the game except for the Ezreal, who obviously is still really far ahead. And by really far ahead, I mean he's like less than 1k gold ahead of me. So I'm back in the game, ready to kind of carry here. And I've completed my Yomus, I've completed my Edge of Night. I think Edge of Night is really important here, particularly for Warwick Ultimate. And even blocking like a Morgana root or an Ezreal ult is going to be really good. So Edge of Night has really high value in this game because there's not a lot of abilities that can remove Edge of Night without me getting value from it. So Vayne Condemn would work as well. And like probably the worst thing that could remove it is Ezreal Q, but even that could be good because Ezreal Q can sometimes half health you if you have W on you as well. So Edge of Night is really high value in this particular game. Here I'm just going to arrow the wave again. Vayne is pushing in, but she's a little bit overextended. We're trying to see if we can get a pick onto her. I'm expecting Vi to ult her, so I'm actually not ulting or not flashing, not ghosting, not anything. Vi does eventually ult her. I have to ghost to actually catch up here because she's a little bit too fast, and I'm able to eventually kill her. So Ghost cooldown for a kill onto Vayne, very, very worth it. We make sure to not waste our ult as well because, you know, Vi ult is enough to kill Vayne. We don't need to overkill her. Really important that when you find picks as well, you don't want to use too many ultimates. Like here I was thinking Ezreal might walk in here, so I'm waiting in here. If Seraphine doesn't get the message though, me and Vi are trying to set a trap, but Seraphine just walks straight out and chases the Ezreal away, which is not what we really want. Ezreal is their most fed member, so we want to get the pick onto him. In the meanwhile though, enemy team was able to sneak away a Baron as we overcommitted onto killing the Vayne. So overall, that kill on Vayne was not really worth it because the enemy team got a Baron off of it. However, whoever is the T-Hex pilot, the MF, is having a horrible ult there. So here, Warwick doesn't have ult, so we're not too scared. We walk up and auto-attack him a little bit. And unfortunately, Ezreal is able to snipe down the Seraphine. Here we're trying to actually kill the T-Hex because removing the T-Hex removes the Baron buff from the minions on the other lane. So here we're able to get the kill on him almost. Not quite. Caitlyn does get the last hit. So here I'm trying to wait for MF to come out and ult her, but she's able to flash away before my ult can connect. So a little bit of a waste on the ult there. And Caitlyn, I'm not sure why she tries to 1v1 MF when we know that MF is really fed and Caitlyn is not. Caitlyn could win with range, but she clearly was not doing that. She just walked straight up and just melee ranged her, which is not really what we want. So here I swap my boots to armor boots and then get a QSS. Obviously QSS is really good for Warwick ulti or Morgana root, and of course the entire enemy team except Morgana is AD, so armor boots is very important in this game. It's gonna probably save me at some point in the game. Here we get a ward down. Enemy team is trying to siege, and they are probably gonna get this tower. We can't really defend this tower with the last of their Baron minion waves because the TX died, so the rest of the waves won't have Baron buff, but yeah, this waves do, and they are able to get the tower from that, and mid lane tower as well, I believe. Not much we can really do to defend that, and any team is really just taking inhibs, which is really, really bad for us. We're trying our best to defend the top lane inhib. Warwick ult goes in onto the Yone, MF ult comes out as well. I'm just letting enemy team use their ults on my teammates. I'm trying to get a pick onto the Warwick. I hit the MF instead, which is fine by me. Unfortunately, I can't really burst down the MF, but Vayne overextends, and we're trying to see if we can get a pick on her. Not quite. I hit the poke onto the Morgana though. And with Lethality Varus, it's about bursting targets and it's about poking targets. So if you can't burst people down, you just want to poke whoever you can poke. If you can burst someone down, you want to burst them. Vayne is very overextended in a 1v3 situation, has to flash out and actually survives. But here I can't really focus on killing people because I have to clear waves. Now the one good thing that Lethality Varus has that other variants of Varus don't really have is wave clear. Very good wave clear with your Q because of your SS Reaver and because of course, all of your Lethality items. You can burst down waves. And that's exactly what we're trying to do here. We're trying to clear out the waves because the waves with super minions are just crashing in, and we're in a pretty horrible position. We're like 7k gold behind the enemy team, and yeah, it's really difficult. The only way we can really win is find picks. Speaking of finding picks, Ezreal gets caught here. Yeah, we're gonna burst him down and we get the kill on him. Of course, no 1k gold shutdown anymore, but getting rid of Ezreal is really important. On the flip side, the MF also dies, so two huge picks on two very fat members of the enemy team. The two most fat members on the enemy team, actually, I believe. Warwick's a little bit more fat, but yeah, so here we are actually going to go for Baron, because two members on the enemy team are dead. This is a really good Baron opportunity as we're going to get, considering how far behind we are. Warwick is pretty far away. Enemy team probably knows we're doing it. They definitely know because they have vision of us doing it. Vayne is on the wrong side of the map. Warwick is trying to make his way here as quickly as he can. Is he going to reach though? He is not. He doesn't look like he's even really going for it. Morgana though is trying to interrupt us. We already get the Baron. We're all going to reset here, and two of my teammates are clearing the bot wave. Seraphine is getting maybe caught in the mid lane, is able to actually escape. And here I'm going to go clear this bot wave. Our last lane that we have inhibitor in, really, really important. We're going to quickly clear that one up. And hopefully we can use the TX to make a play. It could win us the game if we're able to use it well and if the enemy team trolls, but most likely it's going to just help us stabilize the game and allow us to maybe get some towers back, maybe you know, relieve a little bit of the pressure of all these super minions. Now, my team is all kind of disjointed. And DCX is in the mid lane. Seraphine gets a huge ult onto like 3 people. I'm able to follow up, kill 1 person, 2 people, 3 people here, and yeah. So only Vayne and Warwick are left, and this is where I'm thinking that wow, we might be able to win the game with the T-Hex here. So Warwick cannot really defend very well. Vayne also has really shitty wave clear, so probably means we can end the game right here because the death timers are really long. Warwick trying to defend this tower. Vayne is not even bothering. She's just pushing the other lane. Maybe thinking she can get an inhib and or something like that, but Warwick gets bursted down by me. He can't defend, and Vayne must realize that she's in trouble right now. She's still not recalling, so Yone is going to go ahead and stop her. So now even if she wants to, she can't even recall anymore. And at this point, we simply just end the game. So pretty anticlimactic. Enemy just throws the game pretty much. But yeah, so I'm going to leave you guys with the stats. As usual, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.